a few settings that I have to change. Right now it's like a mirror image, so we're gonna change that. So you could read all the text and stuff. It doesn't say like Wartxars or something. Just correct. Jenny.
Oh, yes.
There it is. I knew it. See, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted.
Yes.
And I was just so skeptical because every time I was just like, oh, what kind of Forrest Gump jokes am I going to say? Because, am I going to be running or is it going to be some kind of, I don't know. So I was just thinking of what it was going to be like.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Yes.
So
thank you
awesome
for
to
having
have
me.
you. I've had the whole group on.
Yes.
I was like, we need to get Jenny on.
I know. I've been so busy with work and just covering for a lot of shifts. So finally had a day that was free.
That's awesome. I'm so glad to hear. Pretty sure the audience is going to be pretty intrigued. Let's have some fun. So
right.
Tell us, well, I mean, what do you do? I mean, obviously you were busy with work. So
Yes. Well, I am the manager of a luggage store. There's a store called Lieber's Luggage in Albuquerque. I've been the manager there for about 3 years now.
Nice.
So yeah, I work a lot, and recently some changes have happened, so my role has become a lot more intense with it. So it's just a lot of covering shifts for people and a lot of training new people and that kind of stuff. So.
I could understand that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm not a manager position, but I have a supervisor position. And there's those times where it's just like, oh, so-and-so didn't show up.
Yep.
You need to come in. If not, everyone's going to be screwed.
Yep.
And you kind of feel like, oh, I don't want to make sure everybody's screwed. And then,
Exactly.
it makes you look good, too, as a supervisor/manager.
Right.
It does make people look better that you're being more in tune and helping out more.
Right. It does.
So just tell us more about what I know you from SG&S.
Yes.
So I was just helping them out once in a while. They're just like, hey, we need help with photography stuff. And you guys came along. And you guys doing cosplay. What got you into cosplay? What?
Well, I had always kind of been intrigued by it. Halloween is my favorite time of the year. Okay. I love dressing up in costume.
Hint, here it comes.
Hint. We had just recently heard about a comic convention coming to Albuquerque. It was the first ACE that had come to.
I love that you brought that up.
Yes.
There's some controversy there too.
There's a lot of controversy there.
Okay.
There's a lot of.
Yeah.
But yeah, we John and I had been we were dating at the time, and Captain America the movie had not come out yet.
Okay.
And I was like, John, I think I want to dress you up as Captain America. Let's go to this con. So I scoured the internet for as many pictures as I could possibly find, and we went to thrift stores and all of that. And I had so much fun building this costume from the ground up that I was like, I think I want to keep doing this. So then I got my sister involved, and then her at the time was not her husband or boyfriend. He got involved with it as well, and then we made.
That's a good story too. I got to hear it.
Oh yeah. But. Yeah, he would come over to our house, and at that point we were making samurai armor out of craft foam.
Oh, because I do remember Samurai Deadpool.
Yeah, Samurai Deadpool at one point, yeah. But this was the first incarnation of that. And we actually won the comic the cosplay costume contest for it.
Nice.
And that was really cool. So then we just kept going with it.
Nice. So now it's just a hobby that you guys... Well, more like a passion, right? You guys like to do it. It's just something...
It's fun. It's a lot of fun, yeah. And, yeah. I mean, right now, the only cons that we can get to are Albuquerque Con and Santa Fe Con, which, I mean, there's some controversy behind those cons as well. And I'm not sure if we're going to actually be going to Santa Fe Con this year or not, since it's a bit of a drive for us.
Okay.
Yeah. And
so it's not due to the controversy then?
Not particularly, no.
How do you feel about that? I mean, I personally do not know Jim, so I can't be like he's a pig or he's like this manipulative guy.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of stories, and I know a lot of people who have had experiences, bad and good, with him. So my opinion of him is certainly towards more for my friends who have had the bad experiences, but also I feel like he's kind of gotten to this point of I'm the big shot. I'm the big deal. Everybody bow down to me. And anybody who opposes me, well, I'm just going to fight harder and harder and harder against you. With the whole weapons ban.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a lot of that was because of what happened in Phoenix.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was terrible what happened in Phoenix. But even Phoenix Con has said, oh yeah, we're gonna let people bring their props back into the con.
We'll manage it a little
We'll
better.
manage it a little better. People are gonna be watched a little more, that kind of thing. We're gonna have, more security. Whereas Jim just said no weapons, no props, nothing. Period.
No discussion.
No discussion.
I know that's what's kind of sad too. It's
Yeah.
like he should get more input from the community.
Yeah, I agree.
Because a lot of people are upset at him.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
and it doesn't make him look any better when there's a bashful amount of people that are just like, oh no, Jim's doing this and Jim's doing that.
Yeah.
And then that overshadows the good things that he does. So don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. He's running a Comic-Con here.
Yeah.
It's fun because we don't have a lot of cons that come here.
It's
Big
true.
time cons as well either.
Yeah.
I think, wasn't there a promise of Wizard and it never happened?
For like the last 5 years, I think they've promised to bring it, and then it's like, oh, something happened. We're gonna pull out. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, come on, really?
And that just little hopefulness is just like, oh, well, it looks like we're just going to have to go to Jim's Con.
Yeah, pretty much. But hopefully that'll mean that that more locals will want to build their own cons. I think that could be a lot of fun, because SabakuCon is a really fun small con that happens for a lot of like anime fans. But then there's a lot of other, like BubanaCon is fun. There's a bunch of small ones. I'm hoping that
It grows.
it grows more from that.
It's weird to think of the way that the cons are structured too, because an anime con and an actual Comic-Con are two different worlds.
Oh yeah.
Like I love both of them, but I just feel like it's more interactive inside of an anime con than a Comic-Con. A Comic-Con is more of like a more big time showcase,
Yeah.
and an anime con is like, kind of mediocre. Like, we're trying, but we're appealing to a certain audience.
Definitely. The experiences that I've had between the two, going to SabakuCon and going to the bigger cons that we have, is that, like with the Comic Cons, it's more of a shopping experience.
Oh,
So like you wander around and you buy a lot of the toys, and which is fun. And I have a lot of artist friends that I love hanging out with and seeing and that kind of thing. And comic book owners and that kind of thing. It's great. But at the SabakuCon, it's a little bit less of that. Like there are still vendors, definitely. They're still selling some of their smaller wares and whatnot, but it's a lot more of like community hanging out with each other.
yeah.
It's a lot of kids dressing up as their favorite anime characters and then going out outside and just hanging out with each other.
Even trying to submit like a small panel for like a group thing.
Oh yeah.
Because we actually try to get our own panel. We do a thing called anime roast battles.
Oh cool.
So you come in and we just pretty much just shit talk the whole time. And it's kind of like a competition to like crowd reaction to see who came up with a better dish joke than this person.
Nice.
And it's fun because we've already gotten it 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So we're hoping it builds to the point where we don't have to ask them anymore. They're just like, you know what? It was so cool. You should just come.
Right, right.
But that's another thing too. Like the way the con scenes work is kind of like, I don't know exactly how they work. I'm still working on like how it's put on,
Oh yeah.
where they get the money to, why they pick different hotels compared to other ones. I mean,
Right.
it's a whole different mind trip on itself.
Oh yeah. No, a lot of that behind the scenes stuff, I'm like, I don't know any of it. I just buy my ticket and I go.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all I know.
That's true. But I mean, you get to see some interesting things.
Certainly.
I've loved the fact that more people have come out with their cosplays
Mm-hmm.
than they have in the past 3 or 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot more out there that it's just like, whoa, I didn't know you cosplayed. That's cool.
Yeah. And it's been a fun experience. We've been doing this, I think, since about 2011. And we've actually had a few people approach us as a group saying, you're the reason I'm cosplaying right now. Like, I saw you guys last year and I wanted that experience. And it's like, oh, I'm so happy. Have fun, please. This is a great
Nice.
community. There are definitely some trolls. There's definitely going to be, abuse amongst all communities. But as a whole, cosplay community is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just full of so many people who are so encouraging and so talented. Like, I don't know if you know Leah.
Yeah, I do.
Oh my god.
She's a local legend.
She's a local legend, and she constantly comes up to us and my group saying, oh my god, you guys are so amazing, your costumes are so great. And it's like, shut up, you shut up in your giant
Right?
costume.
This robotic arms that are just like,
exactly.
wow.
It's like it spins and it lights up and it's glittery and it's amazing and I bought this at the thrift store. Be quiet.
I made it. But see, the great thing I love about your guys' cosplay is it's so collabed. You guys are always collabing together.
Yeah.
You always have a plan just like, hey, if we're going to do something, let's do something together. I mean, you guys, branch off into like 2 and 2 pairs. But I've always seen a group collaboration from you guys, and it's always awesome.
We try to have at least one, yeah, because that's the fun of having a 4-person group. It's like, okay, we can usually set it up to do some kind of decent group.
Nice.
So it's a lot of fun.
Do you guys have any ideas for any future cosplays?
I have so many ideas in my brain. It's just finances and getting stuff together, and then oh crap, what day is it?
That's what do they call it? The con crunch.
The con crunch. Yes.
Always
you're procrastination.
Just like trying to make something last a minute.
Yeah, there's too many drawings that are floating around. That's like, I've got 3 months. I've got 2 months. It's tomorrow.
And then you guys are up all night making the costumes, but then it shows that you guys really put the dedication into it, even if it took 2 months to 2 days. You guys really wanted it to look good.
Oh yeah. Well, one of the first I guess like iterations of John's Deadpool costume, I was literally sewing his mask in the car as we were driving to Phoenix.
So
there's definitely that like dedication of putting it into it, but also just I don't know what it is. I'm just a procrastinator when it comes to a lot of that stuff. It's like, I've got plenty of time. Why don't I do it now? But there's TV.
Yeah, that's true. We all have that same problem. I know I do. I've been meaning to keep asking you, but I was just like, I'll just wait. I'm gonna give her some time. I'll do it. I'll ask her. But I procrastinated myself. So the fact that I asked made it a little happen a lot faster.
It's true. Yeah.
But that's just human nature. I feel a lot of people do have that procrastination state sometimes.
Yes.
Others more than others, but you know it happens.
It does.
I think it's kind of cool that you guys are like your sister dates because you guys are all married now, right?
Yes.
So and you guys are like, that is so weird. Okay, this is how I see it. This is exactly how I see it. It's just like you two girls are just like, oh, hey, I got a boyfriend and he's so cool. And then it's like, oh, I wish I had a boyfriend. Like, and then Chris is like, oh, well, I don't know who went first, but I'm just assuming. And it's just like, oh, hey, man, she's got a hot sister. And then like, hey, John, what's going on? It's like, yeah. And then relationships start, and that's how it all ended up. I don't know. I'm just kidding, but
yeah. No, it's it's something kind of like that. Like John and Chris have been friends since high school.
And that's so crazy. I don't know if they told you. We went to the same high school.
Oh, in Las Lunas?
I went to the same high school with them.
Nice.
When Chris and John were seniors, I was a freshman.
Oh, okay. Small world.
I know.
Yeah, I was looking through John's high school yearbook, and I saw 2 people I went to college with. Yeah.
And like, you freaked out, right?
I didn't even realize that they were from Las Lunas. I was like, wait a second, that's Barney. I know him.
I know that guy.
I went to school with him.
But that does prove how small.
It's such a small world. It really is. But yeah, I mean, they had actually, there was a swing dance group that we would go and hang out with when I was in college. And it was over at Heights Community Center. And I would take my sister with me, who really loves to dance. So we kind of sort of knew Chris and John before that, but didn't really ever talk to them. And it wasn't until a couple Halloweens in that John had asked me to help him with a Halloween costume. And unfortunately, at the time, I was so stressed with work and all of that. I was working 2 jobs. It was just no time at all that I was very cranky. And so he's like, oh, she's not interested.
Oh, so then it's one of those.
It was one of those situations, yeah. And I felt really bad
afterwards. You did it, man! You did it!
Yeah, but I helped him out with that. And then a year later, on another Halloween, I went downtown with some friends of mine. And he actually had taken another one of his friends downtown because his friend was having some relationship issues and other things. He's like, we're going to go downtown. We're going to go drink. So I was downtown with 2 other friends, and we just kept meeting up at different bars. I was like, I've been texting this guy. He's kind of cool. We've been talking about anime. He knows some anime that I didn't. I know some anime he didn't realize I knew.
So you had some interests.
We had some interests. So we had been texting each other previously. And then that night, we ended up at a house party, and hooked it up.
Yeah, I love the word.
And
she said it. She said it. I did it. She said it.
Oh yeah, no, I'll totally say it. I don't remember part of it though.
Whoa.
We were playing King's Cup.
Okay.
And I ended up getting pretty drunk. He stayed moderate, and by the end of the night, we're just kind of sitting there talking to each other and making out, and he's like, I thought you didn't like me. And I don't remember saying this. Apparently I said, you could be anybody right now.
Whoa.
And he's like, oh, thanks. I feel special.
Well, I mean, look at how special it turned out to be.
It did.
You can't, yeah, because those little scenarios just make everything so much better.
It does.
Because you would have never. I mean, did you kind of have this ambition that like you guys would be like this now? I mean, back then, right?
I mean, back then I was in a position in my life where I had been used and abused by a bunch of other previous boyfriends, and I had just gotten to this point where I'm like, I'm not going to change myself anymore. I'm tired of trying to be this person that clearly nobody wants me to actually be. So I'm just going to be me. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And we ended up, hooking up that night. And the next day we texted each other and he's like, so what would you say if I asked you out? I said, I would say yes. And he's like, okay, good to know. And then I waited. And then I said, are you going to ask me out?
Whoa.
And he's like, yeah.
I should have done it right away. That is so cool.
Yeah. And this Halloween we'll be celebrating 9 years together. Yeah.
Where's my applause track? Where's my applause right there? That needs the applause. You can't hear it, but everyone's going crazy.
Okay.
They're going crazy.
Yeah.
When you watch this again, they're gonna go crazy at this
Okay.
point. Yeah. But that's so cool to know that like you guys have been together this long.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely the longest relationship I've ever had. Most of my other relationships had lasted maybe 4 months.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I
So-
mean, I'm glad that you got to find somebody that you say get to be yourself.
Yes.
Because I mean, that's always the hardest part when getting into a relationship. A lot of people accommodate to the person that they're trying to like.
They do, yeah.
Some people will be like, "Oh, well, I guess I can get into this, or I guess I
Right.
can try this." Later on down the line, they find out that those interests aren't what they were.
Yeah.
And I've had that
Exactly.
problem a few times too. And
Oh, yeah.
you just have to. I've always been a firm believer of being yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
Because, I mean, if they don't accept you for what you are, then they're not going to accept you for who you fake that you are.
Right. Exactly.
It's not even who you really are.
Yeah.
I mean-
And it's hard to keep that charade going. Like, and I've known a lot of people who, their entire relationship's like, oh no, I don't let him see that part of me. I always make sure I wake up and, brush my teeth first, or I put makeup on first, or I never fart in front of him. It's
Right.
like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
It's like the first thing I did. It's like, if you can't handle this, then you can't handle me.
You talk to a
Sorry.
psychiatrist, right? Because like,
Right?
that's
It's
some
like,
problems.
That's not good.
Because that's
Like, we're human.
Yeah, exactly. Human relationships should be natural. It
Yeah.
shouldn't be forced, or it shouldn't be something that's like manipulated. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna make her like me. Like, if she likes you, dude. Don't go into this whole like I'm gonna
Yeah.
flash my money, or I'm gonna be like the guy with the fast car.
Right.
That
right.
kind of thing. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's kind of portrayed by the media a lot.
Oh, it is a lot. It is a lot. There's a lot of movies out there where it's shown that if you are successful, or you're the guy who, you're the good guy, that she'll immediately fall in love with you.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily true. Like, you see a lot of these movies where at the very end she's getting married to somebody else, but let me prove that I'm actually better. Like, if she's decided to marry this guy, there must be something about him.
Yeah, there you go.
Like,
See,
seriously.
it's just like this. I feel it's a never-ending circle of like we're regrowing, and then all of a sudden we get dumbed down again. Like,
Yeah,
oh no. Like, you probably go through a relationship watching a movie. You're like, I'm gonna do what that guy did in the movie.
Right.
You try it, you fail, then you go do your own thing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work out. You're like, I'm gonna try a movie again.
Yeah, right.
It just-
Exactly.
It's just being yourself. I don't
Yeah,
know. It's
yeah.
so weird to think about, but it is
It
just
is.
being yourself.
It is. It really is. And sadly, I actually had an experience similar to like the movies where a previous boyfriend who had told me, I don't have time for you.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, we're done then. I get with John. Then I announce on Facebook, we're engaged. We're going to get married. He comes out of nowhere. We haven't spoken in years. He comes out of
Oh.
nowhere. He's like, hey, I miss you. I
Last
want to
ditch
talk to
effort.
you. It's like, we're done. We're done. And I showed the text to John. I was like, so look at this. This is ridiculous.
That's kind
I
of
was like, come on, man.
yeah. That's kind of I guess you could say like where were you this whole other time?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. Like, why wasn't I important enough to you previously that now that I'm getting married to somebody else, suddenly I've become important to you again? Like, no, that's crap.
That's
Like,
so
if it wasn't good before, it's not going to be good now.
yeah. What are we gonna fix? Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
And it feels weird that it's like a jealousy kind of thing. It kind of makes me feel like it's an animal thing. Like it's just
Yeah.
like, I see you. No, I have to try again. It's like,
right. Well, it kind of goes back to that age old problem of women are treated like property, unfortunately.
yeah,
And it's still kind of seen with a lot of men that, oh, she's mine. She is my property. Look what I won. It's like, no, I'm still a person. I still have my own rights and I still have my own opinions. So let me make my choices. If it turns out that, in 20 years it's terrible, well, then that's 20 years that it was not terrible. So
it just takes into account how you take it.
absolutely.
So, that's some good like relationship advice there. If you guys are listening, you guys take that into account. Be yourself.
Be yourself.
Be yourself is all you can be.
Exactly.
Do you love music? Are
I
you a
do.
music person?
I do.
All I'm thinking about is Audio Slave right now.
Oh yeah,
Be
yeah.
yourself is all. What's your favorite kind of what do you have a genre you're into? Are you into everything?
It varies, definitely. Like there are some days where I'm totally into like game music, like the 8-bit, what you'd hear in Underworld or what you'd hear in Legend of Zelda, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Like I'm just all about that. And then there's other times where I'm really into like the Mountain Goats and, music like that, or into the old classics, Beatles and, Rolling Stones. And it just kind of varies. It depends on what I'm really in the mood for.
Anything new that you've been brushing on, maybe?
Not really anything new. No, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts.
Nice.
So I listen to Lore and I listen to some of his smaller podcasts that he does. And I listen to Welcome to Night Vale. And my brother-in-law actually does a podcast, which is really good. It's called The Fatal Neutrinos. And he reads just some of his short stories. And I've been listening to a lot of those too.
Nice.
So yeah, I kind of just depends on how my mood is and where I'm driving to. If I'm driving to the bank for work, then I'll probably listen to a short podcast. If I'm driving to Rio Rancho to meet up with my grandpa, I'll probably listen to some music.
Okay, so just whatever the mood strikes, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I'm very fickle.
There you go. I could see you like you're listening to a song and all of a sudden the song says something. You're like, oh, I'm just gonna put on the podcast. Why not?
Sure.
I'm done with the song.
Or finished.
Yeah. Or it's a song that you heard so many times, you're just like, wait, Sweet Child of Mine again.
Yeah.
It's time to put on a podcast.
Right. Something different.
You're not a radio person, are you? Do you listen to the radio a lot, or
No?
It's a dying art form.
It kind of is, yeah. I mean, I find the radio to be annoying mostly because there's so many commercials.
Let me tell you about the sales.
This Sunday, come down here and buy a car. Like,
Right.
I already got a car. I don't need one.
I don't
Thank
need
you.
a car. I can go look it up online.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So
But-
yeah.
Yeah, for me, and the radio, I find a lot of the stations are either playing music that's, the same thing over and over and over again. It's like, okay, I heard that song like 5 songs ago. Let's play something new.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't listen to the radio very often.
I love those radio stations too, where it's just like you can call in and pick your song, and then it's all of a sudden it's like, "Don't Stop Believing" again.
Again, yes.
Who picked this? The
Right?
same guy.
Come on.
So the radio is cool because I used to be into talk radio a lot.
Okay.
So the whole like this thing we're doing now is
Yeah.
pretty much what podcast was back in the day.
It's true.
And then now it's transitioning to like I don't know. Satellite radio is even more interesting because you can just get nonstop podcasts on a station, or you can get nonstop just heavy metal on one station.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit better that it's turned into like a universal radio station.
Yeah, that is really nice.
But again, it's still that fact that like I'm flipping through channels. I'm having to wait for a song.
Mm-hmm.
If I really want to, I could just be like, Google now, play this, and it'll probably play it in the car.
Right, yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's always the weirdest thing for me. But, music is a great art form.
It is.
Would you happen to play any music?
I don't. I used to play the piano when I was younger. And when I say play the piano, I learned how to play green sleeves, and that was it.
That's it.
And chopsticks. That was it. I tried playing guitar at one point. I could not wrap my brain around it. And I actually own a violin, when I turned 30, I said, I'm going to learn the violin. I've been wanting to learn the violin forever. And I'm 34 now, and I still haven't learned.
What? Are you still have it on your mind?
I still think about it, but I just, it's not.
The time thing.
Yeah, it's the time thing. It really is. And it's not, I guess music, as much as I love music and listening to music, it hasn't been that type of passion for me. Like, I've never been a really good singer. I've never just, thought in music. So for me, it's just not really that spot.
Okay.
Yeah. Artistically, I've gone through many, many different, phases in my life. Like when I was younger, I used to draw like crazy. I would draw everything. And I have a few sketchbooks that are just filled to the brim with like these realistic drawings. And now I can barely draw a stick figure. Like, what happened?
Duh.
I hit puberty and just stopped drawing.
It's just like I had to grow up.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is like a lot of people say like you can't lose the innocence of being a kid.
Right.
Because like, I mean, there's some cool things about
definitely
like going running and like, yeah, I'm going to go throw a ball or something.
Yeah. Well, that is definitely one thing that I do miss about being a kid is that imagination. Like I still have a really good imagination and I still, love playing video games and I love thinking about, stories and that kind of thing and wishing that I was a better writer and that kind of stuff. But when I was a kid, I used to make up entire worlds in my backyard just with, a stick and rocks and my 3 siblings.
Yeah, be careful, the lava.
Exactly. Yeah. Like we're going to go on an adventure and we're going to find the hidden treasure that, Blackbeard McPirate, buried or something. It's like, I would build forts in my bedroom for my siblings and we would, make giant ships to, be pirates. And I don't do that anymore. It's like, oh, I'm sad.
I love the fact though that you still like I have the creativity to think of that. I just don't have the time.
Yeah, don't have the time and don't have the drive to do it anymore. Because previously it had been, I've got 3 younger siblings. We're gonna play.
Yeah,
like, we're gonna play pirates now, and I'm gonna build us an entire ship with a, steering wheel and all of this fun stuff. And now it's like I have me.
No, I'm pretty sure John wants a ship.
No, he would love it. He would love it. If we got enough boxes in the house to build forts, he would love it.
He's like,
absolutely. Like, let's do it.
So that I guess, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to explain why the older you get, the less time you have. Because I have that problem too, where I still want to be like, I need to make sure I practice guitar, and I still want to get good at my magic tricks, and I still want to do some like workouts and stuff. But all of these are combined with like making sure I have to go to work, making sure I eat right, making sure I'm just like not overworking myself at all. It's
yeah, it's hard. It's hard as you get older. It seems as if time is just getting shorter and shorter. It's not. It's just. It feels like it.
You know who we need to be like? We need to be like The Rock.
Oh, yeah.
That guy does everything.
He does. He does.
He makes me look lazy, and I'm like, what, 10 years younger than him?
Yeah, that guy is ridiculous. Funny, but ridiculous.
Yeah, like literally, like, because I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan's podcast.
Oh, okay.
So, like, he's making fun of, like, The Rock's, like, that guy goes from, like, China at 6 o'clock in the morning and is eating, like, a buffet of sushi.
Yeah.
And he was working out and, like, sleeps for, like, 4 hours. It's like... That's intense.
That's intense. Yeah.
I don't know where he gets the energy to do that.
I have no idea. I know that everybody supposedly has their own sleep schedule that they're supposed to adhere to. Like the 8 hours is just kind of a generalization. I think I'm 12 hours. I'm like, are you kidding me? I went to bed at midnight and woke up at 7. That's not enough time.
I'm not even ready for the day.
It's like my brain's still asleep on bed.
You're just like driving, like
exactly. It's like it's autopilot.
There you go.
I'm not even here right now.
So I can see that too, because there are those like people who just like, yeah, I just need 5 hours of sleep and I'm good to go.
I've known a lot of people like that. Yeah, it's like I don't know how you do that. I would fall over dead.
Yeah, I do that.
Hallucinate.
A lot. I have a bad problem though. I'm just hyperactive. I'm just like, yeah, and then all of a sudden, just like, crash out, dude. It's already like 3 o'clock. You better go to bed, dude. You gotta wake up.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like being forced to do it though, because I don't want. I can be like, let me stay up all night, but then I know there's consequences the next day.
Yes.
Like I'm just like, yeah, I'm not gonna risk that for. A little bit of pleasure.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the pleasure could come within the week, Maybe like it's coming a little bit later or something. But it just depends.
It does, yeah. Well, I remember when I was a teenager, I would stay up until dawn, like just reading stuff. And like I poured over the Harry Potter books. I would get whatever the newest one was and read it that night, the entire thing. And I can't. Like at 9 o'clock hits, I'm on the couch. It's like, it's time for sleeps.
I'm just, yeah, you're just with the control, just like, it's almost done.
It's like, oh, maybe I can stay up. Nope.
No.
John's constantly like, honey, we need to go to bed now.
Yeah, it's like, let's go to the bed because you're going to fall asleep here on the
It's like,
couch.
you're asleep already. Let's go to bed.
Yeah, I totally see that. It's so
Yeah.
crazy to think about.
Yeah.
So we talk about everything on here. So let's go ahead and jump on to another topic.
Okay.
How do you feel about our president right now? Are you a political person? Do you follow politics a lot?
I do follow politics. I don't follow them as closely as I probably should. Right now, our country and our democracy is in shambles.
Okay.
Yeah.
It has some problems going on.
It has some serious problems against minorities, against women, against the earth.
Oh, that's the biggest one. Like,
yeah.
Like literally, if we ruin this place, we're all gone.
Yeah.
All of us.
Yeah. It's like, I'm sorry, you might not think global warming's real, but it's real.
It's something happening.
Yeah, something is absolutely happening. It is one of the hottest years that we've had in quite a while, and it's only going to get worse. You know, things are melting that aren't supposed to be melting. You know, things are popping up that aren't supposed to be popping up. We're going to have more storms than we've ever had in the past.
Animals are dying. They shouldn't be dying.
Exactly.
So it's weird to think.
Yeah, and the fact that so many people in positions of power want to deny the human aspect of it is really sad. It's like, all right, you don't want to admit that years of not caring and dumping whatever you want into the oceans and dumping, you know, whatever you want into local rivers and, you know, polluting the air as much as you want has consequences.
It's doing
But it
something.
does.
Yeah.
It does. Like, kids are dying. Like, Flint still does not have drinking water. Flint, Michigan can still light their water on fire.
See, that's
not good.
That's troubling. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not troubling other places in the world, but I mean, we're supposed to be the pinnacle, right?
Yeah.
We're supposed to be able to provide for everybody in our country and be so amazing, but yet we have shit like this going on.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to cuss. This fuck, fuckity, fuck. This is uncensored. Just
right.
I didn't know if it was kind of like, I don't know if this is PG or not.
Oh. No, don't worry.
Okay, so yeah. But I see it. Unfortunately, I don't want to say we have an idiot, but we just have an egotistical guy. Somebody with a lot of like, oh, it should be done this way. Maybe it's a good idea in another sense, but it's not a good idea for what's going on here. Business sense, maybe. Not political, not like, oh, we need to like, I'm trying to adhere to my 500 workers. No, you're trying to adhere to almost 2 million people. Like,
yeah, it's like it's a much larger thing that you're dealing with now than just your corporation. Like, just dealing with your corporation, yeah, that's dealing with a small portion of people. But when you're dealing with an entire country and telling people, oh no, you know, it's fine, it's totally fine, clean coal. Like, there's no such thing as clean coal.
Oh, that's so hilarious.
That's not a thing.
That's crazy to think that somebody can say something like that, and a lot of people just get riled up. Like, oh, is that something real? Or other people are just like, you know what, you're an idiot. Why are you saying stuff like that?
Exactly. Like, and they're coming out with, you know, new studies that are saying things like, oh, radiation's not really that bad, and all this other stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure that scientists have been doing enough studies. Why would they want to lie to us about this? Like, seriously, I'm not one of those people who believes in chemtrails. I'm not, you know, one of those people. I know there's a lot of them out there like, the government is lying to you.
I kind of
Why?
You never know. They're out there. They're so scary. They're watching us right now.
Well, they are watching you through your phones. That's for sure.
Yeah. See, that's another crazy thing to think about too. I mean, obviously, we all got an alert from the president.
Yeah, which apparently there's a lawsuit going on against that right now. Yeah, saying that it goes against freedom of speech.
Lawsuit for the text that he sent the world.
Presidential text. Yeah.
Oh my God. See, 'cause, do you remember that happening last year? Did that happen last year?
I don't remember that happening last year.
Because I remember I saw a bunch of studies that were like, FEMA says that this is an annual test that they do. And I was like, wait, this didn't happen last year. I don't even remember it happening at all, where it said like, hey, dude, I'm the president and I'm sending you a message.
Right. It's like, I've tapped into your phone.
I was freaking out. I posted something on a group that I manage on Facebook, and they're just like, oh, you're dumb, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it was a joke, but still, like, the fact that he messaged us all in the blink of an eye is just like, it's kind of
well, also the fact that you can't opt out of it. Like the Amber Alerts and some of those other alerts that will pop up on your phone, you can opt out of getting those.
Oh, okay.
Like you can tell it, no, I don't want to get those anymore. But this one you're not allowed to, apparently. So it's like, okay.
But let's see. President alert doesn't mean Trump can text you. Started approximately 2:18. Received. There's stuff in front of me. Go look up this video. This video is on Now This. It's behind of what's going on. Determine if info are necessary.
It says that the president alert is a new type of wireless emergency alert, the same type of alert the regional and state level authorities use. Hence, for Amber and
We can't hear you. It's hard.
the law that established the presidential alert says the message can't be sent out any purpose other than natural disaster, act of terrorism, or other man-made disaster or threat to public safety.
Look at him. Look at him.
But the term presidential alert made people think Trump himself is drafting the message, inspiring protest Twitter hashtag like hashtag GodArk103. I'm turning the phone off for a while tomorrow.
Never have I ever will. You should cancel this indeed. God damn it. But okay, so I get it. Some people are like,
Yeah.
why did everybody get it? But yet when there's other important, like if an Amber Alert were to happen here in New Mexico, obviously everybody else around the United States isn't going to get it, is it?
Not that I have ever seen, no. I think the way that those work is it's within a certain mileage, because if a kid has been kidnapped, they could be driving to another state.
Okay.
So a certain, miles around it will probably receive the Amber Alert, just to keep an eye out for this thing. But yeah, this is supposed to be going to everybody in the entire United States. They say that it's going to be for, weather and terrorism and all that stuff. But at the same time, it could also potentially, and what I was reading was the lawsuit was saying that it could potentially be used as propaganda, like spreading misinformation or, that kind of thing under the guise of, I'm giving you information, presidential alert kind of thing. It's like, well, who's watching the watchers?
Oh, okay. There
Kind
you
of
go.
thing.
It's like they
Yeah.
can say what they want to say.
Right.
And we assume that it's fact or
Right.
that it's something that is of importance.
Yeah, exactly. And there's plenty of people out there who will watch, certain programs, that start with F,
Wholeheartedly.
who believe
yeah.
everything that's said, even if it's inaccurate, and, won't do any of their own research, and which is really quite sad. And I remember a time when, my mother was like, no, don't, listen to people online. Don't do any of that because they could be lying to you. And now people like that are, watching Fox News and other things and not questioning it.
Okay.
It's like, oh, they've got, child slaves on the moon. It's like, no, let's question these. Let's make sure that this is actually legit before we just go off. And that's the concern, is that these presidential alerts could be used for misinformation or for spreading inaccurate propaganda.
Isn't that just like the way that I guess our society is shaped now? Is just like we've turned into this kind of like fast-fed information where like we don't question it. We just kind of go with what our gut judgment is. If I don't know, if we heard that there was some kind of attack, some kind of terrorist attack or something, maybe not even close to where we are, but we would all have a panic or some kind of like disillusion of what's going on.
Yeah.
What if it was just like a warning?
Right.
We would be freaking out. Like,
Yeah.
because of where it came from and the situation, but yet we just don't have all the information. Be like, a pending terrorist attack may occur.
Right.
Wow, we're all freaking
what?
out. We're all freaking out. People are like going to Walmart, buying everything that they can right away.
Chaos in the streets, people abandoning everything. Yeah. There's certainly that potential. And unfortunately, I think because of that type of mentality, that's probably also one of the reasons why some information is not given out to the public until it is better researched.
Okay.
So then you come out with these like stories. It's like, oh, they found this out in 2009. It's like, well, why are they waiting until 2018 to give us this info? Because they were doing more research. They were figuring out what the actual ramifications of this could be, so that you would not freak out immaturely.
Because I feel right now everyone throws out theories.
Oh, theories.
So
are
many
abundant.
theories. There's like, where are all these like actual facts and not because oh my god, I can't even go through YouTube without even being like bombarded with some theory about something else. It's just like Donald Trump is manipulating Putin. And then all of a sudden, Putin and Donald Trump are aliens. Like,
Oh yeah.
how did it branch off that fast? Like, wow.
Oh, it's the same thing as with like the lizard people. Like
Oh,
the lizard people.
reptilians.
Yes,
Ah,
yeah.
I know so much about them. Ah, it's scary.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, okay, here's my story. When I was in high school, I had a pottery teacher, and I think he knows who I'm talking about,
Oh,
Miss
okay.
Scarf. But she was really cool. But one day she showed us a documentary about like the mystery of Egypt, how it probably wasn't built by Egyptians. It might have built by aliens and stuff. And it might be. It might be.
I mean, there's always that possibility.
I mean, just the facts that they state, which is kind of crazy, which I might bring up in a little bit. I don't know. But then all of a sudden, I did more research, and I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. Like, I would have never thought that the pyramids were built by aliens. And then I go off in this little tangent hole, and I found so much stuff, like the
Yeah.
Greys, the
Oh, yes.
reptilians.
Yep.
There's over 200 species of aliens out there. Where is this coming from? Why did I barely find out this in high school?
Right, right.
Supposedly there's this like book out there, but some Russian guy released called like the Alien Race Book, and has all the races of aliens in it. I'm just like,
Interesting.
this is an amazing story. I want to write a book off of this.
Right, right.
But then you think about it and you're just like, holy shit, this is kind of weird, because I love just diving into whatever, because I have an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
I love having an open mind. The fact that I take the information in makes me know that like it's in there, and I can just refer to like, yeah, I know that's bullshit. I remember watching that. Or I can be like, oh, I watched that one time. It might be real.
Oh yeah.
So just to have it in me. There was this one race of aliens where they were called some weird name, but they were referred to as blues. And the only thing I could think of is like the Blue Man Group.
Oh.
And I'm just like, holy shit, what if the Blue Man Group saw something that we never would have understood, and that's why they do the thing they do now?
Yeah.
Because they have like this really intricate story of why they do the music they do and why they look the way they do.
Oh yeah.
And it just blows my mind away. It's just like, holy shit, what if they are an alien?
Right,
But they're
yeah.
not. But I mean, it's funny to think about.
It's interesting to think about. I've heard some very interesting theories. I 100% believe that there are aliens out there. I mean, there's no possible way that our universe is as big and vast as it is and no other life lives in it.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
There absolutely is other life out there. I'm not sure if they're stupid enough to come to Earth, though. So that's my thing. I'm like, if I was an alien and I had the power of flight and was able to get to from universe to universe, I wouldn't be landing on a planet like ours.
It
Or at
seems-
least if I did, I would definitely make sure to hide my tracks.
There you go. Because like I see it as like us going to like indigenous tribes or something.
Right.
They're just freaking out. They're like, whoa.
Oh yeah.
And some of us, we don't even go there. We just like observe them from far. Like, oh, look at them. We don't want to disturb what they're doing.
Oh
And
yeah,
so
absolutely.
I can always see that with aliens. They're just like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you guys are idiots. Look at that.
It's like,
you guys
oh,
are
no.
burning. You guys are burning the earth again.
Right? It's like, why are you destroying the planet you live on? I don't understand, but go have
Yeah.
fun.
So that's
Yeah.
so weird in itself.
Well, there's plenty of art out there too that actually depicts very strange objects in the sky. So
Yeah.
it's like, here's this, medieval painting of a woman and something, and there looks like it's actually an alien ship in the background.
Yeah.
Or like there's a spaceman which is carved in one of those pyramids. I'm not
Weird
sure which
granite
one.
stone.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Hundreds of millions of years old.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
how
And
did
it's
this
like,
happen?
how did they know about this kind of thing?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of that stuff. But my favorite conspiracy theory so far has been that humans are actually the aliens on Earth. That we are actually from another planet. That we either, decided to abandon the planet that we were on previously and kind of do like an Amish thing and just get rid of all of our technology and start from scratch. But we're very different, like the way that we've evolved compared to some other animals.
Okay.
Like you look at the way that, dogs have evolved and, other animals like that. And it's like, what did we do differently that we ended up the way we are? So there's this theory that we're actually from another planet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's another. Oh my God, there we go. with Theories. I love
Oh,
theories.
theories. It's a dark rabbit hole.
Have you ever heard of the stone ape theory?
I have, yes.
So it's
yeah.
that aspect where we just took mushrooms and our brains got smarter. That's it. We're just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy shit, I'm tripping.
Right.
And then you got a little bit now. Then
Yeah.
you're just like, holy shit, I see the world differently now, which I can kind of see makes sense. But then, you know, that's just another one of those, like, how would we ever know? We can never go back to the past to find it out.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. Yeah.
But I love that that concept where you have like the way that different animals and species have evolved. Like we do have this different change than other animals. Like
We do.
why isn't a gorilla almost as smart as us? It's been like so many years. I mean, they can kind of formulate sign language. They kind of
Yeah, and they're actually
communicate with you.
Yeah, and a lot of apes and a lot of monkeys are actually evolving to a Stone Age period now. So they are using tools, they are bartering for things, and then, you know, I mean, prostitution has been a thing forever, and there's lots of monkey races who do exactly that.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're evolving in a way that is similar to the way that humans evolved, and I think I did something recently that said, "Yep, they're in the Stone Age, essentially."
They're in this era,
and
yeah. I guess it would be our indication to start observing more, so we
Yeah.
can kind of see. I mean, I don't want to say that we can exactly replicate, like, oh, this is what they're doing is exactly how we advance.
Right.
But
yeah.
I mean,
it's going to be different because there's influences that these animals have that we did not.
okay. Oh, I can see that. So,
Yeah.
like, a monkey sees us using an axe, they'll be like,
Like, wait, okay, that makes sense.
I
Whereas,
get it.
you know, yes, there were several different species, essentially, of human. Like, there was the Neanderthal, and then there was the Cro-Magnon.
Yeah.
And one of them did die off, whereas the other one kept evolving. So, I mean, there's influences like that, but we didn't really have a higher species like the humans are now.
To
at
look
least,
over,
Yeah,
yeah.
at least that we've been able to prove. Maybe we did have other aliens.
Aliens.
Yeah, maybe they were like, okay, it's like that old cartoon, Prometheus and Bob.
Oh,
Did you ever watch that?
Yeah, that's so cool because it's just like this really smart guy
Yeah.
who's just like, hey, this is how it should be done. He's just like,
Yeah,
that's how it's
like,
done.
no, Bob.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't even want to get more into aliens because like, what's the? Oh man, what is an alien? We don't even know what's here on Earth.
That's the thing. Like, there's so many species that we still have not discovered ourselves, either bug or animal or even like amphibian or in the oceans. Like,
Yeah.
there's plenty of the Earth that we still haven't discovered yet.
Even small molecules that could turn into something else, just
Yeah.
if they surface. We would never know because they don't want to. They're just like, you know what? We'll stick down
We're
here.
good here.
It's super warm.
Yeah.
Nobody looks at us. I can't even see who's looking at me right now.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
And it's weird to think too that like so many animals have developed from there. Like, you know, there's that fish that has the light on his head and stuff like that. That's like
Oh yeah, I think anglerfish, I think is what it's called. Something like that.
anglerfish. And
Yeah.
it's weird to think about because it's just like, whoa, what if they do start to surface up a little more? Or what if something did happen where they like adapted to more light? Like,
Oh yeah.
whoa, what is that? I want to
Yeah.
see that.
I know, it's very interesting. There's a lot of species where it's very intriguing what they have evolved to accommodate the surroundings and the environment that they live in, like the light. Or there's some fish that don't have eyeballs at all,
Yeah.
because they don't need it. It's so dark where they live.
Accommodating to
So,
the weather.
Exactly. Yeah.
Different things like that.
Yeah, like different bears. It's like you've got polar bears, which in actuality, I believe their fur is clear. It looks white, but that's because of the snow tundra that they live in.
Yeah.
So, you know, for them being, you know, black or gray or something like that is not good. It's not good for the environment. Whereas you've got your other forest bears who have evolved in different colors. So all of that is very intriguing for the areas. And then again, you look at humans. It's like humans have actually evolved, and, you know, pigmentation in their skin has evolved due to where they live near the equator. So if you live closer to the equator, it's hotter, there's more sun, so you are going to have more melanin in your skin. That's just proven. Whereas if you live closer to the poles, there's not as much light, there's not as much sunlight, so you have less melanin to collect as much as possible. But now humans have adapted their world to them, where we don't necessarily have to adapt ourselves to our world anymore.
Yeah, like we could literally go anywhere in the world,
Yeah.
just change our clothes.
Exactly.
Just to accommodate to the weather of what's going on.
Exactly, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's so cool to think about too, is because like that's what kind of made us into this universal human we are now.
Yeah.
Because like there were those people that like, I don't know if we can go over there. It's kind of cold. I mean,
Right. It's
if
like,
we go over there, we might die.
we're all gonna die.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And now, being that we have clothing that will keep us warm, and we have central heating, and we have, cooling and all of this other stuff, we can go to those places that normally humans would never venture.
It's weird to think about.
It's very strange.
It's cool though.
It's very interesting.
It's like, it's life.
It's life. It's absolutely, it's evolution.
It's the biggest like mystery, but yet still fun to find out. Because I mean, the mystery of mystery is just like never knowing.
Yeah.
I love the fact that I don't know, but then the fact about wanting to find out just blows my mind, because that's where you get into this whole aspect of aliens again.
Yeah, it's true.
But enough about aliens. Them damn aliens. I know you're listening to me. But I mean,
one of the commenters said, "I think aliens would smell like strawberry Skittles."
oh, there you go. Let's see. You never know.
You never know.
Yeah, that's true.
The fact
True.
that an alien could be just like a microbiome, just like the small little bacteria that's just floating in like wherever planet they are, I mean, is just weird enough on itself that we've never seen here on Earth.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but then again, I'm just like, there's shit on the bottom of the Earth that's an alien. I'm still freaked out.
Yeah.
I honestly, when I was younger, I freaked out how smart an octopus is.
Oh, yeah.
I was just like, oh, it's just this weird gelatinous creature, just like bleh, bleh. And then all of a sudden you understand that, dude, they have an intelligent brain.
Yeah.
They solve puzzles. They open jars. They know how to adapt to certain scenarios. It's like,
Yeah. Some of my favorite stories of aquariums are the stories about the octopuses, because most aquariums will not have an octopus because they are so hard to keep in their enclosures, because they will escape constantly.
Nice.
And there was one aquarium, I forget where it was, but the person who was feeding the octopus gave him a rotten, gross shrimp. So he took that shrimp and he crawled out of his cage and he threw it at the guy.
Nah.
And then he went back. He's like, see, that's what you get for giving me rotten, gross food. It's like, how did you get out?
Just to think of his mindset of what he was thinking.
He's like, I know it was you. You take that. Oh my God.
In itself, that's just weird. Like,
Yeah.
And then it's
Yeah, they're super intelligent. Apparently, they can actually taste things through their suckers.
okay.
Yeah, that's how they taste something to see if it's even good.
So it's
before
like
it goes
surface,
to the-
like,
yeah.
kind of like any other like bug or something when they radar with their antennas or something.
Yeah, exactly. We just recently went to Austin. I don't know if you know Rooster Teeth at all.
I don't.
Okay, it's another kind of like production corporation. They do a bunch of stuff. But we went to one of their cons, and it was all four of us. And we went to the Austin aquarium, and Chris actually got to touch an octopus.
Oh, nice.
And he was like, "It's not as slimy as you'd think."
It isn't?
Yeah, he said it was more like it did, do the suckers, but it's more like muscle.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So just
Yeah.
like, I guess like meat, like raw
Yeah,
meat
kind of. Yeah. He said it looked a lot slimier, but it was definitely like it was soft,
Okay.
like kind of gooey almost, but not like slimy. It was very interesting.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Because then all I think about now is like, imagine if it was that giant one that's depicted in the Bermuda Triangle. Like,
Oh yeah.
we're all done. They're gonna take over the world.
It's the Kraken.
I love history in itself too when they have stories like that. Like, I mean,
Well, old maps actually used to have depictions of monsters, so like krakens and other monsters, because they didn't know what was there.
They're
so
like,
it was like,
"Don't go
there's
that
a monster
way.
there, just don't go there. We don't
go-
know what's over there."
go around, dude. Go around.
Yep.
It's gonna take you a little bit longer, but at least you'll have more of your men.
Exactly. It's like, you're not gonna die to the sirens and the kraken, and we're good. Just don't go over there.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah.
I love that too. The fact that I'm thinking of indigenous people now is because like Christopher Columbus, he knew about stars in space, right? He's like, I know about like the moon going through its phases. I know about the waxing gibbous. I know about the crescent moon and stuff like that.
Yep.
But I don't think the indigenous people knew it as much as he did. So here was a scenario where I guess Christopher Columbus was like, we need your supplies so that we can go back to our country. And they're like, well, how are we going to live for the winter? Like, we have no way to do it. And the story that I heard is that Christopher Columbus knew that a solar eclipse was about to happen.
Oh yeah.
So he told the story. He's like, if you guys do not give us the things we need, your gods are going to get pissed off and something's going to happen in the sky. And it happened. And when
Yeah.
that thing happened, they gave him everything and they left.
Yeah.
And now I'm wondering, it's like, what happened to those people, man? They gave them all their supplies. They had to like strive and go find food again and stuff. It took them years just to culminate for another year, you know? Because back then, I guess I don't say we're more lazy, but like we had to work for our food every day.
Oh yeah. It was all seasons. It absolutely was. It's like you had certain seasons where you would collect certain things, and if it was out of that season, well, you're screwed.
And then you had like you didn't have this like, oh, I can save my food for the next year, or
there was no refrigerator.
There was no way to like, because I feel like that's how we got smarter, is because we're like, holy shit, we can dry our food so that we store in our food. And it's like, we have a bunch of food stored now. What do we do? I don't know. Let's draw. So then we start coming up with more creative things because we have less time on our hands. This is weird to think about because now we're struggling to find time.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Weird. It's
yeah.
so weird. I hate how that happens. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, you have all these new accommodations to help you with time, and it's just like, I'm still trying to find time.
Like, I don't know where it is. I really just have no idea. It's gone.
So it's
all
just
no time.
It's in itself. It's too much. Let's switch topics.
Okay.
Aliens. You're a fan of the Marvel movies, right?
Yeah. I do like them.
What are you anything like super exciting you're expecting from the Avengers 4, the next one?
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't really like thought about it. I'm definitely excited to see how they're gonna bring everybody back, or if they're even going to try to bring everybody back with new things in the media and the news, talking about the way that some movies may or may not be made, that could influence the way that this new movie is going to be. So we may not get some characters back. So it'll be very interesting. But one thing I have noticed, with me at least, is if I know less about the actual universe, like I don't know much about Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know much about Doctor Strange. I loved those movies.
Okay.
Those movies were great to me.
Nice.
But I did know more about like the X-Men. I, grew up reading the comics and also watching the cartoon. So the movies were not that great for me. And, knowing a bit more about Captain America, and I am not a huge fan of Iron Man.
No.
I don't like Iron Man, but, unpopular opinion.
It happens. Her opinion is not the one that I judge her on this show. But I see what you're saying though, is because like he, to a point, he was appealing, but now he's just like, I feel he's overplayed.
That's what I feel. And for me, it was always just, okay, we get it. You're this, I'm done with you.
Dream to live like him.
I'd love that. It'd just be amazing.
Just be that guy.
Yeah.
No, well,
there is, yes. Yeah.
And how do you feel about Mr. Elon Musk?
I do, yeah.
How do you feel about that guy? That guy's amazing. He smoked weed with Joe Rogan. Woo!
I don't know. Like, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that he's definitely, really good. And there's other stuff where it's like, just insert foot, man. I mean, just shush. Stop talking.
The flamethrower? Are you talking about the flamethrower?
That and
not
then,
a flamethrower.
Not a flamethrower, but then like the thing that happened with those kids that were trapped in the cave.
Okay.
It's like, dude, do you have any proof on anything that you're saying right now? Because it sounds to me like you're just talking out of your ass.
Okay.
Yeah.
He kind of does seem like that. Like.
Yeah.
Pretentious guy who's just like all of a sudden he's just like, well, here's my opinion, and it's like, whoa, nobody asked.
Nobody asked your opinion, and this is public.
Yeah.
Like, you're kind of a big figure. You kind of need to watch what you're saying.
That guy is weird in himself. Everyone's like speculating that he's either a robot or an alien. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I think he's a very smart human being.
He's doing some good stuff for us.
He's doing some good stuff. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can't wait to buy an electric car. I mean, I don't have the money to buy it now, but I can't wait to buy one. It seems so much more profitable and so much more energy efficient.
Definitely, yeah.
And I want to drive 0 to 60 in less than 2 seconds.
I know, right?
How can it do that?
I don't know.
Weird.
It's magic.
Yeah, all I feel is just like a remote control car. If you can hit it all the way forward, it's going to go as fast as it can go. That's all it does.
Exactly. You're going to cause whiplash and Mach G.
Yeah. So the way that technology is now, do you think we will be advanced into an AI thing where like...
100%.
AI.
Absolutely.
Do you think it'll be servant-wise? Or do you think it'd just be like helping us wise, or maybe we'd be part of AI.
I think it's going to be maybe less of like the servant kind of thing. Like, have you seen any gameplay for Detroit We Are Human?
I've seen some.
Yeah, I've seen some, and that's kind of like the idea of where you have like a servant.
I'm thinking of
robot
like
kind of thing.
iRobot kind of thing, where it's just like,
yeah, something like that.
I'll help you.
Honestly, I think it's going to take over more jobs, so more automation kind of thing. It's like, okay, instead of having soldiers, we'll send in the AI. Instead of having, somebody working in a call center, we're going to have an AI. Instead of somebody working on an assembly line, we'll have more artificial intelligence doing it. So I think it's probably going to go more that direction. Skynet is real.
It's out there, people.
It's going to happen. But it's definitely going to keep going.
What are some of the positives and negatives of that you feel are happening right now?
Well, I think some of the positives can definitely be in, because humankind is never going to not want to fight itself.
Okay.
So I think if we're able to create something that can save more human lives and still do the fighting that humanity loves to do, would be a positive on that sense.
Rock'em sock'em robot.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Just keep the human aspect far away so that we don't kill as many people. But still, 'cause humans just love to fight. I don't know why. I don't know why.
I mean, we were getting excited last night because we saw the UFC.
Oh yeah.
It was pretty exciting in itself, but
I definitely think that if it keeps going the way that it's going, because I don't know, did you ever see what happened with, what was her name? She was the Google AI. I don't recall what her name was, but she was learning from the internet and turned into a racist Nazi.
What?
Yes.
I gotta look that
up.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So they let her loose and she learned from the internet and she's like, okay, now, let's kill all humans. It's like, oh gosh, crap. So I think that's definitely the negative on that, is that humanity in itself is great and smart, but also destructive. And we are our biggest trolls. So we will cause big problems with stuff like that and create like something great and then turn it into something evil. There's also the potential that if the AI keeps evolving the way that it seems to be and gaining consciousness, does it become a citizen? Does it become a life form?
Yeah, that's actually really good. Like,
yeah.
How would you depict it to be a robot compared to the dog?
Right.
Like, if he serves you and helps you,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how would you not treat it as you would like an animal or another person?
Right, exactly. And if it starts actually questioning its reality and questioning its life, doesn't that make it human?
That's weird.
Doesn't it give it a soul, a consciousness, whatever soul entails for you?
That's weird in itself.
Yeah.
Don't mind blow me right now. Stop mind blowing me. Because I don't see any real sense of calling it a human. But
not at the moment.
But the conscious thought idea of like it being able to think for itself, like,
Mm-hmm.
in relationship to the dog, like the dog never questions if it's a dog.
No, yeah, exactly.
It'll never question if it's a dog. And I don't know if a robot would ever do that.
That's the question right there. It's like, is there a possibility that its programming can surpass the programmer? And what originally it was designed for, will it surpass that? Because evolution, I mean, it can take forms in all kinds of things. And so there is that potential that it could take a simple program and learn and evolve and turn into something that we're not expecting.
Okay.
So, I mean, we've been warned in lots of movies like AI and Terminator and all these other movies.
Hasta la vista.
The Matrix and all of this stuff. And I think there is definitely that potential that, we could program something and create this thing that will surpass us. Now, the question is, will it be merciful? And will it give us, our freedom still? Or will we become the hunted? Or will we become the batteries? Or will we become, the zoo animals? That's the question. But I think I doubt it's going to happen within
our lifetime.
Our lifetime or even our kids' lifetimes. But I think that there is certainly that potential because technology just keeps going.
Yeah.
Keeps getting better and better.
And it's so weird to think about how fast it's advanced, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, oh, my God. We could literally, I do not remember when I was in high school being able to do anything that I can do now. At all. At all. Like.
No, dude, I remember a time when the radio, like I was literally sitting next to my radio with a tape recorder waiting for my favorite song to come on. Now I can look it up on the internet.
Download it like nothing.
Download it, exactly, and listen to it as many times as I want.
Shh, be quiet, I'm trying to record this.
Exactly, yeah. It's like cell phones, yeah, they were a thing when I was born, but they were not as popular as they are now.
They weren't even as they couldn't even do anything that they can do now.
No, not even close.
You have a computer in your palm of your hand.
Absolutely. Like the cell phone that you have has more computing capability than some computers on the space stations.
Yeah, the most advanced space station in the 1990s has nothing compared to what it is now.
Yeah. Exactly.
But then there's that theory that the government had this technology beforehand and then they just introduced us at a later time. So like the internet was used for military purposes and then they're like, whatever, let's just give it out to them because we are done using it the way we need to use it. Same thing with computers, same thing with like certain I think the cell phone and stuff was invented as a more of a communication device in war before it was like, well, let's just give it to the next consumer.
Oh yeah. No, I think that that's probably very true because computers, definitely were first used in, places like the government. Like I remember stories from when my grandfather was in the Air Force of room just full of computer. Like this room was the computer, but nobody else had a computer at home. Like we barely got a computer in our house when I was 5 years old. So it's like, yeah, it probably did start with government military application and then went on. There's lots of medical devices too that's been the case where things have been invented for military and government use and then that we can actually use this during amongst the rest of the populace.
That's true.
Let's do that.
I remember Neil Tyson was talking about how scientists invented stuff for NASA and then they were just like, oh shit, you guys made that, let's take that. And it's just like, wow, it's just like the invention of somebody else that was like, I think it was a power tool, turns into being an assault rifle or turns into something else more dangerous. And it's just like, it's crazy to think about.
Oh yeah,
that someone's idea can be manipulated or turned into something positive or negative.
Right.
And I don't want to say that having a gun is negative, but I don't want to say that it's positive either.
Right.
How do you feel about gun control? That's a segue for you.
That's definitely, yeah. I don't know. It's a very touchy subject because I understand where a lot of folks are coming from in the idea of, you shouldn't take my guns. This is my right, blah, blah, blah. That was originally put into place because of the war that was happening between America and Britain.
Okay.
It's like, okay, well, people, regular farmers need their guns.
They were the army.
Yeah. Like, we did not have a militia. We did not have an army. So it was the regular people in their houses that were defending our country against people that we did not want in control of us anymore. That's not the case anymore. Like, we don't need to defend ourselves in that sense. I understand that a lot of people are like, but, I need to be able to defend myself in my home.
Police state. That's one of the things that I've heard of.
I hear that a lot. Yeah, I hear that a lot.
I mean, okay, so I hate these conversations.
It's a rough conversation because there are so many school shootings. Yeah. There are so many kids dead because guns are so easily gotten.
Yeah, just like it's there. They're just like, hey, the parent is probably one of those parents is like, look at my prestige revolver on the kitchen table. Well, don't touch it. Yeah. But it's there.
Well, that's like what Columbine shooting. It was, 2 kids who took their grandpa's guns and they went and shut up their school. And then I think one of the most recent shootings in the school, a kid he went and bought one.
What?
Yeah, he was like 17 and he bought one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I have to go through this big old process to buy a gun. Jeez. Yeah. I mean, he probably had to go to the process too, but once I hear about the process, I'm like, fuck this. I'm not going to.
No.
Oh, the fact that I have to go on a list and stuff is going to take way too long. Never mind. I would rather just get a taser.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's weird to think about.
It is weird to think about. And the fact that there are also so many pawn shops and other places like that that will buy guns and then sell them without any background checks or anything like that is also a huge problem. Because at least if you have the background checks, that's one step to
indication to see.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully preventing somebody who has an instability from getting a hold of something that could potentially destroy lives. But with, you know, all of these other, like, there's fairs that will sell guns. Just, you just go in with some money and you go and buy a gun.
What are they called? Gun shows or something?
Yeah, gun shows.
It's like, that's a gun show.
Yeah,
And it's like,
exactly. It's like, that's not, no, we shouldn't be doing this. And the fact also that they're selling, like, AK-47s.
that's a cool gun.
It's like, but you don't need one. It's a cool gun, yes, but you don't need one. It's like you can go to a shooting range and shoot one, but you don't need to own one.
Yeah, that's true. That would be a better accommodation where it's just like if you go to an arcade or something, you go play their toys.
Exactly,
you know?
yeah.
Let me go shoot an AK. Let me shoot a Tech 9. Let me shoot these cool guns that I won't be able to shoot in real life because I don't need them.
Exactly. It's like you don't need this in your house. You can protect yourself very easily with, you know, a handgun or a shotgun or something like that.
Yeah.
You don't need a high-powered assault rifle that was made for military application. It's like, that's my biggest argument.
And I can see that too. I totally see that because, again, why going into a school with a gun that can kill over 50 people in less than a minute is very disheartening. Yeah. It's scary.
Yeah. And the fact, sadly, so far their solution for this is not regulating the crazy amount of guns that some people can own or regulating who can buy guns or regulating what guns are even sold. It's let's give kids Kevlar backpacks.
Oh, yeah. To protect themselves.
To protect them.
Because
how about we do something that gets these weapons out of the hands of people who are going to kill your children? But most of the people who are making these laws don't ever have to worry about their kids being shot.
Yeah. And that's the hardest part to think about, too, is because the person that's buying the gun doesn't think of it, my kid won't get shot. Mm-hmm. It's not my kid that's going to get shot.
Yeah.
And the thing is, too, they should be thinking, like, they probably don't think this way, but it should be like, would my kid take my gun? They probably don't think that way, but they should because growing up, you still have developing what is right from wrong.
Yeah.
I literally, when I was a kid, I totally thought like picking on a girl was, you know, that's the cool thing to do. But you're older and you're just like, yeah, that was pretty dumb.
Yeah.
That was really dumb. So I can see growing up or getting older, you're just like, oh, it's a gun. It's so cool. I'm going to go show my friends and blah, blah, blah. But then the older you get, you're like, wow, why did I even go show my friends that gun when I was 12? That's stupid.
Yeah.
So
that's not smart.
Yeah, I feel like just they don't understand the real like mental capacity of their child where it's like they're still not developed. You can talk to your kid and be like, hey, this is the family gun. Can't be used, blah, blah, blah. If they had that gun and they told him that story at 5 years old, by the time he turns 10, his mindset of the gun is totally going to be different.
Yeah.
The influence of people at his school, influenced by the TV. He could just be like, whoa, my dad's gun looks just like the one Rick Grimes used on The Walking Dead.
Right.
I'm going to hold it on.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And it could happen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And she's being really mean right now.
Uh-oh.
One of the commenters said, your dog looks like Bender from Futurama.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Kind of skeptical. I was like, wait, what?
Bender? Really? Okay.
She's cool. She's actually a mix between a Siberian Husky and a pit bull.
Oh, nice.
So it's a weird combo.
Yeah.
And she's a lovely dog. Her name is BB-8.
BB-8.
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
She's nice. She's really nice. I got her like maybe like 2 years ago, and it was just from another dog owner who had too many dogs, and she just like felt like she couldn't take care of this one, so she's like, I'll just give her off to you.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love my dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good. Do you have any animals?
I don't. Unfortunately, I'm allergic to dogs and cats right now.
Oh, why didn't you say anything?
It's fine. I'll just start sneezing. It's okay. No.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. My sister has cats. My mother-in-law has dogs. It's totally fine.
So is it?
I didn't used to be though, which is really weird.
So you developed this.
I developed an allergy later in life. Yeah. Like I grew up with cats and dogs. My whole life I've had cats and dogs. And they've slept by my head. They've been in my room. Never had a problem. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Like I'm a severe asthmatic and I've never had a problem with cats and dogs until I moved out of my mom's house.
Whoa.
And then I lived with a guy for a while who didn't want any animals. It's like, okay, so lived there for a year, and then when I moved to my own apartment by myself, I just never had the finances to have my own pet. So I've gone almost 10 years now without animals, and I've developed an allergy.
Wow.
So I sneeze, I get hives, my eyes start to water after a while, I get severely like tight-chested. But it's
You're
only
scaring me right now.
No,
Oh
it's
my
fine.
God.
It's if she was in my face, yes, we would have a serious problem. But being right there, my nose is a little tickly, but it's okay.
All right,
it's okay.
So it's slowly getting there. So
if I was here for like 3 more hours, we'd have a problem.
Okay.
But yeah, no, we're fine. This is a short enough period of time. I'm not that allergic.
So it's mostly so I don't know if this works for other animals though. Well, like, would you be allergic to, like, say if you like pet a llama or something, or like if you like pet a cow or something?
I don't know. I've been around cows. I've been around llamas. I've never had an issue, but I've also never had them in my face for an hour.
That's weird.
So yeah, I have no idea.
I've always wondered how like allergies like that work. Like, how can you be like, some people are allergic to cats and dogs, but yet some people are only allergic to cats. Or yet some people are only allergic to a certain kind of cat. It's like, wow, how does that even...
Yeah, it's really strange because, like, John is not allergic to cats or dogs per se, except if a dog licks his arm.
Oh.
Then he starts to break out in hives, but only with some. It's not all dogs.
That's weird.
So we're not sure if it's, like, the food they were eating or if it's the breed of the dog or, like, were they messing around with something outside? We have no idea. Because there are some dogs that, you know, where he used to work, they'd bring dogs in all the time. And so he, you know, play with the dogs. They'd lick his arm and he'd be perfectly fine. No problems at all. And then there's other days where he'd send me pictures just welted up. Yeah. And it's like, what happened?
I got a slobber on me. A little slobber on me. And now look at it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
They might have to amputate.
Got it right there.
But that's, oh man, see, that's weird in itself to know that, like, people develop the allergy later on too.
Yeah.
Sniffle.
Yeah.
But that's crazy.
It is. It's annoying because I love dogs. I really want to get a dog, and I have a feeling that, you know, we're gonna get a dog, and I'm gonna be miserable for like the first week, but then maybe my immunity will come back,
nice.
or I'll just be dead. Who knows?
Do you think they would have? Well, I mean, they do have medications and stuff too,
They
right?
do. Yes, I could take Benadryl or I could take other allergy medication. Certainly.
I would hate to do that all the time, though. You're just like, well, I gotta pet the dog now.
It's like,
here we go.
Yeah.
It's time to pet the
Like,
dog.
Morning allergy pill.
You know how it goes.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's good. Animals in general are great. I love. When I was growing up, I never really had dogs growing up with my parents. My parents were not really like big animal people.
Oh yeah.
So when I moved out, I was not like a big like, oh, I have to take care of a dog and
Yeah.
But like being with her for like 2 years now, it's just like, it's comforting because, like, you know, you come home and there's that, I'm happy to see you.
Yeah.
I am happy to see you. And then it's
yeah.
just like, there's those times where she knows she does something wrong and you're just like, BB-8, why did you do that? And she just looks down at the floor and she just has remorse or something. I'm just like, I just wish I was thinking what you were thinking right now.
Yeah, dogs are fascinating. They've actually done studies on dogs that prove, in some cases, when they're dreaming of you.
What?
They're dreaming of their family.
Oh,
yeah.
She talks in her sleep too.
Oh, yeah.
She's always
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what are you dreaming about?
I was like, what is it? It's probably the day that they had with you. And dogs and cats fascinate me too in that sense because, like, you have a person who loses their leg after, 30 years of having their leg, they lose their leg. And a lot of people, that's the end of the world.
They feel devastated.
They're devastated. They're no longer whole. They feel like, I've lost this huge part of me. I can never be the same again. But you do that with a dog and they struggle for a bit until they figure out how to walk and, they figure out how to move on with life and then they're fine.
Yeah.
It's as if they never lost it. It's like, man, I wish I was, that strong in that sense.
That's why I really wish, like, we knew a lot more of, like, the thought process of the dog. Or of any kind of, besides humans.
Yeah.
Because, like, I would love to just think like another, like, even, I would just love to, like, just to think like another person. Like, just to think like, oh, I think you're thinking of this. Like, you probably are, but it's not in the same way, or
right.
It's totally different. That's the beauty of it. It's just like, I can always bring you in a scenario, but it's probably nothing close to what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Or maybe you are thinking of it the same, but I don't know because I'm not in there.
Right, and everybody's brain acts differently. Certainly.
Yeah.
Because, like, there are certain things that John can look at in a game and immediately know how to figure it out and, do that. Whereas my brain, I take it apart. So like if there's a cube, I'll take that apart in my head and figure out how to put it together, which I think is one of the reasons why I like to sew and put stuff like that together, because my brain, I can just kind of lay it out and figure out how it's going to lay and how it's going to be put together.
So you have a good visual process.
Yeah, but
You
it's a
see
definitely it's a very different way of thinking about things than other people do. But yeah, I mean, with the amount of technology that we have nowadays, it is surprising that we haven't figured out how to like read a dog's mind or translate what they're barking.
That's
kind of
true.
thing. It's
Even
like, well, why can't we understand them?
any kind of animal that shocks me in itself, that I just don't know what they could be thinking or how they're thinking. And I wonder what she sees. Yeah, she's always curious, always in and out.
I'm wandering around.
Yeah, and then I don't want to the first time I ever had a podcast, I closed the door.
Oh, yeah.
Constant scratching. I'm just like, oh,
Let me in.
so sorry. Then I put her outside. Constant barking. So it's like, yeah. Just let her do her thing. She bugs us maybe 2 or 3 times, 2 minutes out of the whole 2 hours. So we're fine with that. But I mean, any other animals that really intrigue you that just blow your mind out there? I don't know why we're talking about animals now.
I don't know. I mean, animals are fascinating. I love foxes.
Whoa.
Foxes are my favorite. I wish I could own a fox. They're so cute.
Do you ever wonder what it says?
I do.
Nice. That's just a reference of that
Yeah.
stupid song.
It's a dumb song.
But I mean, the foxes are cool to think about too. And I just found a little thing right there in my chair. I'm like, what is going on here?
The chair's falling apart.
But just in general, the fact that like, what if like breeding of animals now is weird, that you can change what they are.
Oh yeah.
Like literally, like probably would never have a dog that looked like that unless they got 2 other dogs to mix together, which is even weirder because I mean, a dog and a wolf are very similar in each other, but like they're like they don't really like each other if they were to meet. Like a wolf would be threatened if they saw another dog, where a dog sees another dog and it's like playful meaning.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird to see that.
There's a lot of really fascinating documentaries on that too, because at least within the last like 100, 200 years, we have evolved dogs to look the way that they do now. Like even 50 years ago, some dogs did not look the way that they do now. But with selective breeding, humans have turned dogs into the vast majority of breeds that we have now, for different purposes. So like hunting purposes or for family protection.
Or purses.
For purses.
How does that work? Why are they doing this?
Why are they so tiny? That's a good question.
Why? Okay, so if they're like, why wouldn't it let it go into its genetic path how it's supposed to?
Because humans love to play God. We love to change things.
That deserves applause. Because that's true. We are assholes sometimes. We're just
It's true.
We try to manipulate too many things where we shouldn't.
And it makes me sad with some of the dogs. Like you've got pugs and other dogs like that, which will forever have breathing problems and will forever have eyesight problems and things like that because of the way we've bred them. And, Shar-Peis and just the way that they look, because a lot of the breeding recently has been for shows.
No, okay. Yeah.
So you get that selective breeding of, we want this many wrinkles, or we want this long hair, or we want this flat snout and that kind of thing. And it does cause health problems. It really does. Like my favorite dogs are mutts.
Yeah.
I love mutts. It's like that's a more natural way for this dog to be. Yes, they'll probably have other health problems down the road from just being alive, but at least it's not going to be something that a human bred into it.
Yeah, like having short legs or having like really bad hip displacement because they were bred that way.
Yeah.
They don't develop their bones certain ways. It's just,
exactly, yeah.
It's really sad to think about too, is because like it's more of a visual appearance than the actual acceptance of the animal.
It is, yeah.
But then again, the animal doesn't think it's an animal, so where are we on that?
Yeah.
It's
like one of the best animals that I ever owned in my life was a Himalayan cat. We got him when I was
I want to see what it looks like. I don't even know what a Himalayan cat looks like.
A Himalayan, he is a mix of a Siamese and a Persian.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So is it short hair?
No, long hair. Long hair.
Really? Furry.
Yeah, very furry. We got him when I was about 2 years old, and I named him Coco.
Coco.
He was my best friend. He followed me everywhere. We grew up together. He was the best thing. We got him from a breeder who was going to drown him.
What?
Because he didn't have the correct markings. He grew into the correct markings later on.
Markings as in like
the face coloring and the back coloring and that kind of thing. So they were going to kill him.
Wow.
But they had a box full of these kittens in front of, I think it was like a Safeway or something like that. We were in Denver at the time. And I apparently like begged and pleaded my mom, and we brought this cat home.
Nice.
And he was the best animal ever. He was such a sweetheart.
That does look like a cute cat.
Yeah, he was great. He had so much hair though.
Constantly just like, whoa.
It's like so much everywhere.
Whoa.
But yeah, I mean that was the problem too. Is like if we hadn't taken him home, he would have been dead. Like they would have killed him because he didn't have the correct show markings. It's like, seriously, he's an animal. He's living. Just give him to somebody else. Sell him somewhere.
How long did it live?
He lived until he was about 15, 16 years old.
So he lived a long
time.
See, and it's just like, oh no, this dog or this animal is not what it's supposed to be.
He doesn't look right. It's like,
you don't look right.
He's also a kitten.
Right?
Let him grow into it.
You're losing your hair on the top. Should we get rid of you right away?
Should just kill you right now. You don't fit the Adonis appeal.
I mean, how does this work?
Right?
So
exactly.
I get where that comes from too. Is because like, where can we judge life?
Yeah.
Where can we? Like even like I don't want to bring it down to like a flower aspect, but I mean, wow, how can we if it's just wilted to the side?
Right.
It's still growing, but it's growing at a weird angle. Is it still going to be? Oh, that's disheartening. We shouldn't even have that. Like, what if it grows and is amazing?
Right?
Like, that's just those little things. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I hate when a fucking fly comes in here, but still,
there's beauty in all life.
Yeah.
And even if it is flawed life, there's still beauty in that life. And it is still fascinating that we are alive. Like, there's a lot of things that I've read before that pretty much say, we don't really know how we're alive. Like there's electricity going on. We have no idea how it started.
There's a lot of
it's
things
a total mystery.
that are still crazy. Because I hear, well, I'm pretty sure we'll check this in a second, but there is the fact that our brain can conduct electricity and water at the same time. Like there's little sparks of neurons going on, and it's engulfed in water.
Yeah.
Like, why are we not dead?
Right.
That would kill somebody.
Yeah. Normally it would, but for some reason it actually keeps us going. And it's fascinating, but also because we have evolved into, the way that we are, there's also a lot of judgment. It's like there's not that fascination of, oh my gosh, we're alive and this dog is alive and this cat's alive. It's okay, yeah, sure they're alive, but are they going to make me money?
What are they doing?
Yeah. Like, you don't really look right. I'm not so sure. You've got an extra chromosome there.
Which is kind of the opposite of animals, because they look at us and just like, I want to know what you are. Let me see what you are. Can I smell you? Let me feel what you are.
Like,
and then
what is this?
Compared to us, when we see an animal, we're just like, whoa, that dog's probably ugly. I don't want to go look at it.
Right.
Compared to like that dog is probably longing just to be touched by a human.
Oh yeah. Some of the sweetest dogs I've ever met in my life have been the ugliest. It's like, you're just a love.
I just have this droopy hair.
Exactly.
Slobber.
It's just drool everywhere.
My tongue is halfway off the side because I'm a dog.
Yeah, it's like, I don't care.
It's cool. Like, oh man, I love that this conversation is just about life. This pretty much is, because it's the little things about life that just make it.
The different aspects, yeah.
If we were able to go to space in the next 2 years, would you go?
If it didn't cost a fortune, yes.
Okay.
I absolutely would go to space.
What if it was more like a relocation program?
It would depend on where we were being relocated.
I think the closest is probably the moon or Mars. How do you feel about even trying to get to Mars? Do you feel like that's a necessary thing we're doing?
I think it's certainly fascinating. And I think learning about at least our solar system can help us to advance into potentially even exploring other galaxies. Because eventually we're going to crash into the Andromeda galaxy. So we need to figure out, how to get possibly either to another galaxy or another planet before.
So wait, as in crashing, or like literally going to crash?
Yes, these galaxies are going to crash.
They're in a colliding course.
Yes.
So
it's not going to happen for several 1,000 million years, whatever. But eventually, yes.
Then how does the explanation of the universe expanding happen?
I don't know, actually.
See,
Because there's a lot of really fascinating, because I've heard that the universe expanded and now it's compressing.
Oh, okay.
That's what I've heard. So, I mean, of course,
we're not scientists.
With all science.
We're not the smartest people in the room right now. Please look up these information.
Yeah.
We are speculating because we want to learn.
Yeah. But of course, with all science, there is always going to be a theory a proven theory, and then, oh wait, there's some new information, so this proven theory is now a new theory.
Okay.
So that's why usually they always call them a theory, like the theory of relativity and the theory of gravity and that kind of stuff. It's like it's always changing because we're always discovering new stuff. Like we thought we knew that, you know, we were the only galaxy, and then, oh, there's millions of galaxies actually out there.
We thought we were the center of galaxy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, and then we didn't know what was in the center of our galaxy, and oh, it looks like it's actually a black hole that's in the center of our galaxy.
Right.
So we're always discovering new things. So, you know, taking everything with a grain of salt is definitely smart.
Okay.
I mean, even dinosaurs that we thought forever we knew what it was, turns out we actually didn't. Wrong head was put onto these bones. Whoops, it's actually a different dinosaur.
Oh, yeah, there you go. See,
that happened with the Brontosaurus, I believe.
they're just like, what? Oh, no.
It's
How
like,
did...
oh, whoops. We had the wrong head the whole time. Sorry about that, guys.
Let's not do that with the other ones again.
Yeah.
Let's
Or
just
like,
leave them where they're at.
Or like Pluto. Like for the longest time, Pluto was considered a planet.
Yeah.
Until we realized, oh no, Pluto is actually a dwarf planet that just happens to be a part of the Kuiper Belt. But because Pluto was discovered by somebody in Albuquerque believes that Pluto is still a planet, and it is a planet as long as it's going over Albuquerque.
It's always going to be a planet in my heart. Well, I mean, you can't really. It is what it is.
Yeah,
Especially, like, what if we do end up finding a life form on Pluto?
Oh, certainly. Yeah.
Then that's just more speculation to be like, well, it doesn't have to be a planet because there might just be an extra moon. Like, there's life on Saturn's moons, right? They're always talking about, like, oceans and, like, constant hurricanes going on and, like, this mad array of things. Just like,
and there's microscopic life on lots of stuff. I think they've discovered water on Mars and other stuff like that. So, you know, there's always things to be discovered, and there's always new information coming forward. So it's just a constant learning.
that's the beauty of life, as I feel like if you're constantly learning, then we're constantly advancing in ourselves. But the moment that we stop doing that, where we just accept it, then that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we'll end up with kids with guns.
Yeah. And that's not...
They should evaluate that. They really should.
They really
but
do.
They don't. They just like, maybe we'll just have Kevlar backpacks.
We'll just have Kevlar backpacks and we'll arm all teachers.
Are you a South Park fan?
I've watched some South Park. I haven't watched any of the new stuff.
Whoa, they're trying to really get canceled.
Are they?
It's really, wow. The last episode was about priests and, like, you know, all about touching boys and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the episode before that was about school shootings. And it was really heated. It was like, so school shooting goes on and the parents are going crazy, right? They're like, oh my God. And then the kids are like, just another day at school.
Yeah. No, I saw there was something in Mad Magazine, actually. It was a comic strip of, like, the, what was it called? The Ghastly Hall Terrors or something like that. Essentially, it was about school shootings.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it was, you know, A is for Amy, and, you know, it just went through all of those names. And at the very end, it's like, yep, this is just another day. Like, this is pathetic. Like, this is the life that these kids are leading now. We're not changing anything. We're not giving them a better future. We're just telling them, okay, well, you're just going to have to figure out how not to get shot, because that's just your daily life. Like, you go to school to learn, to be a better person, to be protected, to, you know, to better yourself. And there's the potential that you won't go home that night.
And it's just to, like, I guess you can see in the adults and stuff, they do make it like a big deal. But it's nothing being done. It's like ramble, but yet no solutions in it.
That's the other big problem I've noticed with the information that we are fed in our world with social media and whatnot. You have a big issue that's talked about and debated about and trolled and all of this other stuff for like a month, and then it's swept under the rug.
Just like nothing. The next new topic
comes up.
So I can see that, because it was never like really established that, like, hey, this is still a problem. Let's fix it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, we'll get back to it later.
It's like, yeah, we'll talk about that. That's old news. That was last week.
until it happens again. Then it gets brushed back to the top. But then I see what you're saying. It's just like, oh, well, whatever. Elon Musk smoked weed. Let's just put that to the bottom and put Elon Musk at the top.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
It's
weird.
like, what's the new hot thing that people are complaining about? Let's do that instead. It's like, no, we still have this issue that we need to discuss and figure out. We haven't come up with a solution for this yet. Oh, well, there's also this problem that we now have to come up with a solution for. Like the whole Kavanaugh thing that's going on.
yeah.
That's the big thing now, because he's been confirmed, even though there's, all of these allegations and, pretty much like testimonies from people who know him that say, no, he really should not be a Supreme Court judge because he is not impartial. He is not non-biased. He is way too emotional, and he's going to cause serious problems for a lot of people.
Yeah, because he wouldn't have a biased opinion.
Exactly.
It would be more of like whatever is upsetting him or driven. That's I would love to bring that topic up. It's just like keep your home affairs away from work, because I feel like he's not that kind of person who would do that.
Oh yeah, no.
Certain problems or whatever that come up, he's pissed off because his kid might have like shot somebody or something. So he's gonna go take it out on the people he has to do a jury for. He has to go sit there and listen to these people, but in the back of his head he has all these biased things that are going on with his personal life. It's not gonna impede his judgment the right way.
Right. Yeah. And fights more for corporations as a whole rather than the individual as a whole. Person who's been hurt by this, he fights for the corporation that could potentially be hurt by whatever it is. It's like, I'm sorry, when as a country did we say business is a person and the person is just scum, is dirt? It's like, why don't we fight for the people? Why don't we fight for, better work conditions and health care that everybody can afford and equality amongst all of our human brethren? Why instead are we fighting for, tax breaks for the super wealthy businesses? And why are we fighting for, laws that say, oh, this business no longer has to worry about these regulations because it's costing them millions of dollars to keep these employees safe? Like, why are we fighting for that? I don't understand it. But unfortunately, he seems to be one of those people.
I think it's too much of a money-driven society.
Oh, it 100% is.
Like, unfortunately, like the way that our established anything in the world is now is money-driven. Like, I heard a statistic that said, like, there's enough resources on the planet that can sustain life, that can give somebody some meaning to actually, like, food, water, clothing, housing. We just don't have the accommodation to do it for everybody because we're just like, well, who's going to get paid for it?
Right.
Who's going to do this? I mean, you do see those stitch efforts from like, and people who are just like, well, I'm going to go to Africa and I'm going to do my best. But that's one person trying their best to like bring up a society that's like a country like us, Europe, any major China, they can do it like nothing, like with the palm of their hand, just literally just like, here you go. You are now a country. You are now built, but it's a money-driven thing, and it just makes me sad because it's just like, instead of helping other countries to develop in a certain way, we're having competitions with other countries so they don't develop in a certain way. Like China, for instance.
Right.
We're trying to make sure China doesn't beat us.
Yeah.
They're going to beat us.
Oh, I don't have any doubt.
They are going to beat us. First of all, there's so many people there.
Yes. Yeah. There's a whole interesting thing also that I just saw earlier today in China. Apparently they have this like social credit now that's going on.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, Black Mirror.
Yeah.
That's all I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's very interesting. And what I saw on it was talking from like two different parts of it.
Okay.
Because essentially everything is being monitored. So like there's surveillance cameras everywhere and they're watching everything that you do. So if you look at these certain websites, if you buy a certain amount of alcohol, if you
even say certain things,
things, it gives you social credit or it demotes you on things. So like if you're doing really, really well and have a lot of their social credit, then you get to buy things at discounted prices, or you get things for free, or you get to travel more.
Even get to do certain things.
Get to do things that
this area here is for people with 100 credits.
Yeah,
you can't go there if you don't have 100 credits.
Yeah, but then they were talking to a journalist who is pretty much like blacklisted, and he can't travel in some places. He can't buy certain things. He's pretty much can't go on certain like websites and things. It's like, this is scary, actually. Like, this is really a scary kind of thought of they are watching everything you do and judging you by everything you do. Like, oh, you bought a lot of beer. Okay, we're going to demote you a lot because that's not what we want as a model citizen. It's like, okay, yikes. I'm not sure I like this at all.
So you think, in your opinion, do you think that having these rules and regulations is a good or a bad thing? Because some people say the fact that China has so much structure is because is how fast and how much they've been able to advance because of how structured they are.
I think in moderation, everything is good. And I definitely think that there can certainly be bad aspects to it. Because again, it kind of goes back to that who's watching the watcher. Like, if you're having a bad day, are you going to take it out on me because I did something that you don't like? It's kind of like with any security kind of thing. Like, because I work in a luggage store, I constantly hear stories from people who are like, oh yeah, the TSA took this from me, even though the last time I flew, I didn't have a problem with it. It's like, it depends on the day that they're having.
Seeing that
for some people. Yeah. And it's unfair because there's always going to be that human aspect of, well, I'm making my judgment and my judgment says this. And it's like, but I mean, did you do that to this person? I don't think so.
Yeah.
So that's not fair. So I think just from what I saw earlier today, it scares me. Like, I don't think that that's a good way to go. Like, personally. Yeah.
On that note, China's out there, guys. Just so you know.
It's coming for you.
It's a little, it's kind of scary. But again, I mean, there are some advantages to that because China does have this structure that is just like they are advancing in technology and stuff.
Oh, definitely.
Because they have that like discipline and they're like, you can't do anything but do this. And then here in America, we have that mentality of like, yeah, we should get this done when we can. And I don't want to say we are, but we kind of are losing the advancement of like technology and stuff. We were at the pinnacle. We were the like, holy shit, we have all the coolest stuff. Now it's like other countries, Japan, China, they're just like making it seem like we're subservient. Like our technology is nothing going to be compared to theirs.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it goes to the money, of course, like who's going to buy this, who's going to spend this money. But also there's some groups of people who, will put stops to certain like medical advancements and things like that because it goes against their moral code.
Okay. See, that's another thing too, is like we can't research certain things here in America because that's wrong. Like
right.
The use of psilocybin.
Yeah.
Or magic mushrooms. There's been certain studies that help people with Alzheimer's, people with schizophrenia, people with depression.
Oh yeah, I mean,
even
marijuana. It's like that's still such a huge controversial thing, even though there are definitely plenty of states that have legalized it. It's still not legal federally.
Yeah, and even the federal government has a certain thing where I heard people in New Mexico are still getting like, because they recently passed a law saying that you can have a certain amount of marijuana on you, but now it's like they're still getting pulled over and taken to jail for it, and they're like, the mayor just totally passed a law that says that I could have this, and it's just like, well, you have to wait till you go through the due process, and all this law is new. It's too new for us to deal with.
Right? Yeah, it's like, no, you're just power tripping right now.
It's kind of it's disheartening again.
It is. It really is. And I mean, there's so much stuff out there that they're regulating so hard. And unfortunately, in New Mexico, at least mostly because I live here, so I know a bit more about like that kind of structure. In the prisons, a lot of the people that are there are because of marijuana.
Something small.
And a lot of them are minorities too. That's the other problem, is like we've got so many of these people who are serving hard time for something so small and minute because of the color of their skin or because of how, poor they are or, whatever it might be. And that's completely not fair. It's like you've got other people who are committing much larger crimes like rape and tax evasion and other things like that, and they're just walking. They won't even see a jail cell.
Oh, man.
It's like, are you kidding me?
Do I have a story for you? When I was in high school for my senior year, me and a couple of friends were hanging out, and, we were doing the pot. That's what we do. We were doing the pot. So we actually got stopped because we were driving, and we got stopped. And the cop was having a bad day, but he wasn't having a bad day in the sense he took us to jail.
Okay.
He was having a bad day where he scared the fuck out of us.
Oh,
where he's
jeez.
like, "Oh, you get on the ground, put your hands up,
Yeah.
make sure you're there." And at the end of the night, all he did was like grab the weed and throw it into the forest. That's it.
Jeez.
And he's like, "I don't want to see you guys on the road all night because I'm gonna be patrolling."
Yeah.
So literally, it was a power trip.
It was.
He could have done any other thing, done it exactly by the book. He could have searched us, frisked us, get it all over with. No, he literally scared the shit out of all of us, like pointed guns, made us spread. Like if we were like legitimately like trying to run like 150 kilos of cocaine somewhere.
Right.
Where we just had like a little bag of marijuana, and then all of a sudden at the end he's just like, "You kids get out of here and I don't want to see you anymore." It's like, what? Are you serious?
Yeah.
So that in itself just makes me so sad that like we hire these political, not even political, these people from like high school that are like have this mentality of like, I'm the boss now.
I'm above the law.
I am the law.
Yeah.
And it's scary.
It's very scary. Yeah, it's very scary. There's so many situations where people are pulled over for minor things and they either get shot or harassed like crazy. It's like, no, I'm sorry. You're supposed to be upholding the law. You're not supposed to be killing me because I looked funny at you.
And you know what's weird is I'll play the devil's advocate right here. Is like, what if there was a scenario where that happened to them one time, so that the second traffic stop that they do makes them suspicious or aware of that? Like, oh my God, this guy tried to pull out a gun on me last time, and all I was gonna ask him for was his ID.
Right.
So now the next time he's like,
Yeah.
I have to come out with a gun ready to go because I don't know if this guy is gonna do what the last guy did.
Right.
So that's another indication of like,
Yeah. And I understand that part of it because it's a dangerous job. Like
yeah.
there are plenty of dangerous people out there, and I've definitely seen plenty of stories where routine traffic stop ends in the traffic police officer murdered.
yeah, or like
Absolutely, and it does happen. But to come out, guns blazing at just the smallest movement is not fair to that other person, because there's plenty of other stories in the news, like, especially, unfortunately, men of color being shot in their homes or in their backyards because, oh, he scared me.
oh man.
It's like, no, the guy was opening his garage. Or like the man who was killed recently in his apartment because she got the wrong door. So she killed him in his apartment, and then they tried to blame it on his weed. He had weed in his apartment. It's like, I don't fucking care.
That's not.
She shot him in his apartment. He did nothing. She knocked on the wrong door.
That's
Or
bad.
the kid who was killed in his backyard, in his grandma's backyard, because he had a cell phone in his hand. It's like, no, this is bullshit.
It is. It really
bullshit.
is. I mean, I don't want to make it like that seem not so bad, but like it's the same scenario that we saw on an episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Is like Carlton's driving through like this really rough neighborhood in his nice car, his nice clothes, everything, and they get pulled over, and Will is automatically like, dude, this is gonna be bad. And he's like, no, why not? Look at me. I have money. I look prestige. This is going to go good.
Right.
All of a sudden, the cop judged him on his minority, gave him the full treatment. And they ended up in jail.
Oh, yeah.
Carlton is an outstanding citizen in the show. He does really good. His parents have a lot of money. They do political things all the time. But yet he was judged on the skin color. Mm-hmm. And that's hard to like. What does it make him different than anyone else? Is like, I don't see the difference in anybody when it comes down to like, oh man, like your skin pigmentation is different than mine. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, okay.
I'm jealous that I can't grow hair like that. That's what I should be mad about.
Yeah.
And it's just in itself, it's just like the way racism has turned into it. I feel like we're losing racism. Like, we're not as racist as we used to be, but we're more extreme racist because of not being so racist.
Potentially, yes. I think that there's definitely a generation of people who have learned that, this type of racism is, not appropriate. We are all human beings. We all need to accept each other. There's always going to be stereotypes. There's always going to be that. But there's definitely, especially with the most recent administration, been this surplus of white supremacists.
Oh my God.
Which terrify the crap out of me.
And right away he throws the card of like, I don't want to say he like made Hispanics and like Latinos feel bad, but he literally that's the first person that's what we like felt like he was going after.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm gonna build a wall and we're gonna make sure that people have their jobs here. It's like,
right, like get rid of them brown people.
Wow,
Like, are you kidding me?
Wow, dude. Yeah, it was weird to think about in this aspect.
Yeah, no, it's not good. Not good at all.
What's up, Angel? No. So we've actually been here for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been here for quite a while. I just want to thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. I'm glad that we had this conversation because, I mean, I love the fact that I got to learn something individual from all of you guys.
Yeah.
Because, like, I see you guys as a group. I was like, yeah, they're a group. But then you all have your uniquenesses about you, which just makes it even more amazing to get to know you guys.
Yeah.
So next time I see you at a con, I'll be like, Jenny, Chris, John, Melissa, you all are amazing. Let's do another podcast. But this was fun. We got to do this again.
Yeah, definitely. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the dog thing.
Oh, it's totally fine.
We'll accommodate a little bit more next
it's
time.
totally fine.
But thank you for coming. Is there any anything you want to shout out? Any little thing you want them to follow you on? I know they mentioned a lot of the P I G Cosplay.
Oh yeah. We have our P I G Cosplay group on Instagram. We also have our cosplay group on Facebook. So go follow us there. We don't post a lot of stuff, but when we do post stuff, it's usually pretty good. But no, I'll just leave you with this: we're all beautiful people. Just be good to each other.
Play us out, man.